Good evening. Good evening, Jane. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing okay, hanging in there. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad you called. What brings you in today?
Um, well, basically, life is just not great. Um, both of my parents passed away within 6 months of each other, and that is a pretty recent and significant loss for me. So, um, in the wake of that, I am also just feeling pretty lost and despondent and overwhelmed, to say the least.
Oh, I do understand that. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And I offer my condolence because you said the loss of your parents. Did they both pass at the same time, around the same time, or what's the?
Yeah, no, they died within 6 months of each other. My mom actually had ALS, that's like Lou Gehrig's disease, so it was this long, drawn out illness, and I was her primary caretaker. And so she was the one who passed most recently, just a couple of weeks ago. And the last few months of caretaking for her, where it was just incredible to see, you know, your mother in that state of decline, to become
Absolutely.
more and more unable to function and care for herself. And yeah, eventually to spend her last like 3 months in a hospice facility, and
Mm,
to be there every day, just like watching her actively dying was a lot. Um,
wow.
yeah, with my dad about 6 months ago, it was a little bit more sudden. There wasn't like a long, it was a shock because it was sudden, but it wasn't this long, drawn out suffering.
Okay. Okay. It was sudden. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. That is a lot. Now, if you're okay, I want to lean into that a little more. Can you tell me about the family history? Is the disease your mom had was ALS? And then your dad passed away suddenly. Is there a history? Is there a family history of that, or was this just like out of nowhere? Mom had it, and no one else in the family has had anything like that.
She's the only person who has had ALS or anything of that significance. My dad ultimately died of, it was kind of like a heart attack, but it was ultimately caused from a pulmonary embolism in his lungs.
Okay.
So that's like a blood clot in his lungs. And I actually have a cousin who had a blood clot in her arm. And I know that my paternal grandfather, he was on blood thinners into his old age as well. So
Gotcha.
I guess there is some sort of genetic something going on with that.
And if you don't mind me asking, Jane, what about you? Have you had a history of blood clots, anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I've had overall pretty decent health, but also that said, I'm not someone who's like frequenting the doctor's office. Like, I don't really go for annual exams or anything like that. I just kind of go on a needs basis.
Okay. All right. Now tell me more about you. What's your living situation? Are you working? Are you not working? Are you the only one in the house? Do you have children? Just so I can get the whole picture clear, because I don't want to assume anything.
Okay.
If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I'm 26 years old. I just actually graduated from school with a bachelor's in library science. Um,
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It took an extra long time because the last 3 years have been so intensive with caretaking for my mom in particular. And I have
Hmm.
no siblings, so I was kind of carrying that load on my own. And in doing so, it didn't really leave much space for socialization. So even though I was in school for 6 years rather than the usual four, I I really didn't build any deep connections. I still live in my parents' home, and
Okay.
so now it's just me and the cat here.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, so pretty isolated, pretty overwhelmed and lost.
Oh, okay. And I apologize when you don't see me. Um, it's not that I'm not engaging or listening. I'm just writing notes. And by the way, full disclosure, I do apologize. Should have told you at the beginning of our session. Anything you say stays private and confidential, long as there's no intent to harm yourself or harm others. Then, because as a mandated reporter, I would have to report that. Now you said not too much socialization and you kind of feel like you're isolated. I want to ask the question when you went through all of this with your parents, the funeral arrangements, if you don't mind asking, was there anyone in the family that you could kind of lean on and help you through this, or did you manage all of that on top of school all by yourself? How did that work out?
Well, I would say I was mostly managing it all by myself. There were some like graces with it, I suppose. With my dad, he did have one sister who was still alive, and because my mom was so
Okay.
sick, she wasn't able to, help with any kind of planning like that. But when he passed away, his sister was able to help me figure out like how to do the obituary and like helped me kind of write that up because she had more insight from his childhood, that sort of thing. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, she just helped me with making the connections with like the funeral home and all
Sure.
of that. But it's like there's still this endless list of things to do with like his finances. Like I haven't closed out his credit cards or his bank accounts and things like that. And like he still
Mhm.
has a car sitting in the driveway that I have to figure out how to like sell or like
Wow.
yeah, it's like it's so much to manage. With my mom because we knew that um, when she received the diagnosis, we knew that there was a limited amount of time.
Mhm.
My dad and I were able to collaborate together a little bit on that piece of things. So like we have a plan for when she passes, like she wants to be cremated. We know which funeral home to go to for that. Um,
Right, right, right.
and yeah, and we were like able to hear a bit more of her wishes of like she doesn't really want a wake or a funeral. She wants like a celebration of life kind of
Mm.
thing. So,
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Kind of pivoting a little bit, because there were a few words that stood out to me. One word in particular, isolation. Is that by choice or you're just not comfortable being around people?
I mean, initially, I would say it was circumstance. Like I was
Okay.
either at school studying or home caretaking. For my mom got her diagnosis 3 years ago and just passed away. And for the last year, she wasn't able to do anything.
Got
So
you.
it's me taking care of the house. I'm doing all the dishes, all the sweeping, all the shopping, um, all the cooking, taking care of the cat, and
Mhm.
taking care of my mom. Like every single thing
Right.
that you can possibly imagine that goes into caretaking for an adult pretty much on me for a
Right.
time.
Okay.
But now that she's gone, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but there
Wow.
certainly is no drive to go meet new people suddenly and like
Right.
engage with society again.
And I totally understand that because your plate is loaded, and I'll say, wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Um, how did you manage to go through all of that and still complete your bachelor's? How? That because that is a lot.
Well, I think one of the biggest things when my mom was diagnosed 3 years ago, I was already like a couple years into my degree,
Hmm.
and I was ready to just drop everything to be her caretaker. And she insisted that I not let go of my goals and to like not lose myself at all in
Mhm.
despair or caretaking for her. So she continued to encourage me to go to school, but I definitely went from like I was already a part-time student, and so then I went to doing like one class a semester just to make it super
Wow.
manageable and digestible.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's a lot. Let me ask you this, because your plate is full dealing with all of this. How has your sleep been? Are you getting 8 to 10 hours? How many hours a night do you think you sleep?
I think if I'm lucky, I might get 3 hours of sleep.
Three
Uh,
hours of sleep total.
Total. Yeah, I'm waking
Wow.
up all the time. I'm having a hard time falling asleep. I mean, these last there's just when you lay down at the end of your day and you're just kind of starting to process what's going on. Like everything has been so massively heavy. There's so much that's been going through my mind for the last 3 years with caretaking for my mom about anticipating her death and just thinking about what's it going to be like when she goes. And then with my dad's very sudden death, like that was such a shock. And in that moment made it clear, like I realized like, oh, it's not just when mom dies, then I'll still be here and I'll still have dad. Like it was unbelievable that he actually went first.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I I'm just distressed, I guess, at night, and so
Sure.
my thoughts are kind of reeling. Kind of goes back
It,
and forth between like reeling with anxiety, but also just like so much sorrow.
right. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. And I want to tell you, um, that's understandable because you've been through a lot and you've just been going and going and going, and your mind has not been able to stop. And I want to let you know, I hear you, and I get it. It is a lot. Your plate is definitely full. Let me ask you this. So we talked about the sleeping. How is your appetite? Are you eating? Do you feel like you eat enough, or you're not really having no appetite to enjoy anything you eat?
You know what? It's almost the opposite of that. It's like
Okay.
I've gained weight since my mom's diagnosis, and I think it's because when I was a kid and like when she was healthy, she and my dad would go out a couple of times a week, and it always felt like it was like phones away, like we were connecting. We were a pretty close family when everyone was healthy and when everyone was here. And so I think when she got sick, a part of me had started like reaching for food as to a way to fill the void of connection as I was kind of watching her
Um,
like slip away.
okay.
Yeah. Um, and I still like in the last 2 weeks since she's been like gone, like officially gone. Um, I was watching her slip away for such a long time, but now that she's really truly gone, um, I'm like when I can't sleep at night, I'm sometimes just getting up and like reaching for some of her favorite snacks, like as a way to feel connected to her.
Wow. 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 On a sadness meter from 0 to 5, zero being not at all, five being all the time. On a day-to-day basis, where do you think you measuring on that scale? On a sadness meter, what do you think you measure?
If we're looking at the scale as five being feeling it all the time, I'm definitely at a five.
You're at a 5. Okay.
Yeah, but if we're talking about intensity of the sadness, that kind of comes and goes in waves.
In waves. Okay. Some
Yeah.
days are more intense than others.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Mm.
is okay. And do you say this sadness or intensity, it most days it disrupts your day and it pretty much set the tone for your day if you're going to have a productive day or not so much productive?
Um, I would say that on the days when the intensity is pretty bad, um, I'll call. I've called out of work a handful of times, and I mean the people I work with know what's going on. I'm an
Um,
assistant manager at the Dollar General, which is like not even what I want to be doing with my life, right? Like I got my bachelor's in library science, and here I am working at a freaking Dollar General, and like so there's also, there's also hard feelings around that, like
of course.
not being able to really do what I want to do. Um,
Okay.
and so the sadness intensity and its impact on my day-to-day life is it's just kind of like, I don't know, just thinking about the same things over and over again, thinking about the
Sure.
loss, feeling a little bit also like I'm a failure because I'm not doing what I want to do with library science.
Doing what you want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and I hope I'm not overstepping, but I don't feel as if you're a failure because, first of all, you to deal with all of that you deal with the loss of your parents within 6 months of each other, to do that and to continue your schooling, you know what I mean? Because you were already into it. You have time and invested into all of that. Then to do all this pretty much by yourself because you're the only child, that is a lot. That is a lot. So don't be hard on yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You've been doing an outstanding job, and you're human too, right? So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but I want you to hang in there. So we're over the time, but what I would like to do, if you're okay with, I'd like to see you next week. I want to talk more about those intense days, what it feels like, what it looks like. Then I want to talk about self-care because I believe I'm a big believer in taking care of yourself because if you don't do it, who else is going to do it, right? And then I want to talk about your future plans because you didn't get that bachelor's to be a librarian to not utilize it. So I want to know what the future looks like for you. And then if you're comfortable, I want to talk about the grieving process and bereaving, that type of thing. So yeah, are you okay with seeing me next week?
Yeah. Yeah. The same time next week works great for me if you have the availability.
Yes, I will most certainly have the availability and we'll go more into it and hopefully we can get a plan and see what we can do to make things a little better for you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. It was really lovely talking with someone today. You're like the first face that I've seen that's not a Dollar General customer in a long time.
Oh wow. And thank you for sharing. I do appreciate that. And just know you have my contact information. If you're feeling a little like, you may want to see me sooner, please reach out, call the office, and we'll definitely see what we can do to help you. Because we want you to know you're not in this by yourself. We'll help you as much as we can.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great one. You're very welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.